Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here today. So I was sitting here and I was getting ready to water some of my plants. And some of them need fertilizer. Like I only fertilize them a little bit in winter, even though I continue to get growth all through winter because I am in the deep south. So you'll see a couple of these plants need water. You'll be able to like visually see that, I think. But I was thinking, I know that there are a lot of people, I mean, less so I think than in like a 2020, 2021, but there are people who are interested in kind of adding plants into their spaces or beginning to collect plants or care for plants. So I thought that it would be a good time to talk about kind of the top plants that have been really easy under my care. So I'm gonna narrow them down to the top 5 plants that have really been, I won't say easy care because you still have to take care of your plants, but the ones that have withstood the most neglect is probably a good word. Not that I neglect any of my plants, but there are some that you have to continually check on, continually check whether the soil is dry or if it's balanced on this and all these things. These are the ones that have really required the least of me and have continued to thrive. There's even one that I genuinely forgot about for a while and I was like, oh. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. You guys can probably see this plant next to me and it's really big in a really big pot, so it's gonna be kind of hard. Like I'll just I guess it's not really big, but when I got it, it was pretty small. So this is my bird of paradise. This is a white bird of paradise, and you'll be able to clearly tell that it's a white bird of paradise. And I've had this plant for a couple of years. It does have a leaf that's stuck right now. I don't think that you'll be able to see that. But this right here, can you see this? Is a new leaf that was stuck for the longest and it's trying to open up, so that I'm anxious for that to go ahead and open up. But I've had this plant for a long time and it requires so little that it's the plant that I forgot about, and I hadn't watered it in probably a couple of months at that time, but it continues. I did lose a few bottom leaves, but it continues to push out growth continually for me, and I've had to up its pot size, and this is like kind of like the last remaining leaf of my neglect. It's slowly dying. I'm not going to remove it or anything. I'm going to keep it there and let the plant continue to although it is utilizing some energy for it, I don't feel the need to remove it because there is another new growth coming from that point. So now it's touching me. So anyway, my bird of paradise, if you guys would like more specific care tips on each of these plants, let me know. But right now I kind of just want to do kind of an overall view. So again, I have had this plant. Actually, I think I got this plant at the beginning. No, I got it for my birthday. Either 2019 or 2020, so it's been a couple years since I've had it. I feel like it was 2019. Yeah, so it is beautiful. I know that lots of people get into plants that are rare, plants that have a lot of variegation, but you will find a lot of the things that I love in my collection are just the most lush green. And if you're looking for a plant that is going to immediately give you those kind of like apartment or home jungle vibes, this is one that's really good. Now there is also a that you can usually easily find. I can't remember now. Oh my god, if I hadn't said it, but it's not the white bird of paradise. Oh my god, you guys, what am I trying to say? The other bird of paradise that's easily found in like your big box stores or your local nurseries. It has a much thinner leaf, a much more compact leaf. I don't prefer that one, and I don't have one of those in my care. Instead, I like the really like big paddle like leaves, and they're so glossy. I don't put any like leaf shine or anything on my leaves. I like for them to be able to breathe. That sounds bad, not breathe, but be able to take in light well without anything kind of obstructing that, and it's still like this glossy beautiful look to a leaf. So that would be the first plant that I would put on this list. And then the second one, when I was thinking through the plants that have really just given me the most growth and the most with the least care in the last couple of years or so, I realized that one of those is my Hoya Australis here. Now here's the thing, I actually, in the beginning of my plant care journey, killed one of these. And I think I hauled that early on. And that's just because I was doing too much for it. I was honestly doing too much for this plant because it has a thinner, you can see, it has a thinner leaf than a typical Hoya. And so I thought that it didn't need as much. I mean, I thought that it could go less time without being watered, so I was honestly over watering it. And since I stopped doing that, it's put out like this. It threw this out, and it's a little weird because the leaves are here. And then it put this shoot out recently, and because I changed the spot and it's in a south facing window, there's lots of new leaves coming on this, but they're gonna be really nice. And then it's growing this way as well. So this is my Hoya Australis, as I said, and it has really required very little. I just make sure to give it pretty high light, so it enjoys really high light, and the leaves will really let you know when they are ready to be watered. They kind of, I wouldn't even necessarily say droop, but the back, you can tell, kind of withers a little. Now when I say wither, I don't mean let your plant die. I mean you can kind of start to see a little bit of wrinkle, not in the way that you can in like a compactor, but you'll be able to tell when this plant needs a little bit more care. So that plant, the other thing is it handled, so I was affected by mealybugs, and if you know anything about mealybugs, they are the most annoying thing. And it handled bouncing back from that through lots of treatments and started to put out new leaves pretty quickly. And some plants don't do that. They don't bounce back well. So that's why I would say that that's in my top 5, because it bounced back well from everything that happened to it. Okay, so move on to number 3. Now some people will say this plant is not that easy, but you guys, I do not. Okay, so it looks rough right now, and that's because I took a lot of cuttings because I'm trying to make an even bigger pot, and it sits on a window, so you'll see that this is pretty, there's no leaves that come out this way because all the leaves go towards the front. And now you'll see, like, the top of it looks a little rough, but now you'll see this thing is like continually growing. These are all new leaves that just came in the last week, and I take so many cuttings off of this. I have so many like baby ones of this, so that's why this one doesn't look as lush as it could, because it continually grows. So this is oh my god, is this a lemon lime Maranta? Well, I feel like this is my lemon lime Miranda. I do also have a variegated one and a red. Yes, this is my lemon lime Miranda. See, these are also new leaves coming in. So it grows crazy well. And I have this one in my kitchen, in a kitchen window, because it does really like humidity. And so this one, I would say, makes the most sense to put on an actual watering schedule, because it does like consistent watering, whereas these other ones you can kind of just look at them and or like measure their soil and know when it needs water. But that one, it can go on a schedule, and I think that that's probably really good for like beginners or people who just want something that's easy, because you know this day, this week, I'm gonna water this plant. So that's why that one is on my list. And also it's beautiful. I think I'll probably say hold on. I think I'll probably stop taking cuttings soon and just let it continue to grow down in that window. But yeah, pretty straightforward. So that's plant number 3. And this list would not be complete if there wasn't a Pothos on it, and there are 2. So just be advised that there are 2 Pothos. And they're really big, so they're hard. Hold on. Ah! Okay, this is one of the ones that okay, so you can't see me, I'm sure. This plant is huge. It hangs in behind some, in front of doors, in front of my patio doors. And when I first got it, it was like here, right? I cannot show you how long this plant has grown. And obviously as it gets further to the ground and like further away from the sun, the white kind of has left. So there's like a lot that is just green on the bottom. And so I think that I'm gonna start taking cuttings from the bottom and hope that it continues to push from the top. So this is one of the plants that needs water right now, but if you are one of those people that actually does like variegation, and white variegation at that, and you're not ready to spend any money on like a rare plant, like look how pretty this plant is. Sorry, there's a dead leaf, my bad. I didn't even pull it out right. I am continually like stunned by how pretty these leaves are on this plant. And it is such a basic Pothos, you know. It it can pretty much withstand what you put it through. So I know some people always say, oh, pothos are low light plants, and so they put them in places where they don't get a lot of light and then they do nothing. That's not really true. Like, can they tolerate it? Yes, but the more that you give it, the more that it shows out. So like, that's why this one just blew up, really. So again, if you want more care tips on each specific plant, I can give you that, but it's a pothos. So yeah, all these new leaves, like, I just keep looking at it. This is an absolutely gorgeous plant. Okay, so the last one, I don't know if I'm even gonna try to take this one down. It's hanging on my mirror right now. It also needs water. That's my Cebu blue. Here's the thing. When I bought this Cebu blue, let me see if I can get it. All right, when I bought, look at this. Look at this. You can kind of tell it has that light blue color to it. But when I bought this plant, it was at least a third of its size. And I haven't even had it a year. I bought this last July. I put it, so I hang my plants together. So like, this one hooks into the Marble Queen and they hang in front of that door that's in front of my patio, which faces south. And I've taken cuttings from this. There are some that are propagating right now. And it touches my floor now, so it's even longer than the Marble Queen. I mean, it is massive at this point. I could just take cuttings all the time, but I won't do that. And as you'll see, like, the further it gets from where the sun touches, the leaves do get smaller. You start to lose some of these like massive leaves. So I think that one of the things that I'm gonna do, hold on. All right, so I actually think that one of the things I'm gonna try to do with my Cebu blue this year is to take some of the cuttings that I'm propagating, and I'm gonna put them on like wood and try to get it to grow up and mature it. So that's one of the things that I'm gonna do, and that's one of the things that you can do with this plant. This is not its mature form. This is its juvenile form. As it gets bigger, it develops splits and gets big. Like, I want that to happen. So I think that that's what I'm gonna do with this plant. I think I'm also gonna stake a couple more of my pothos to get the bigger leaves and things on them as well. So those are the top 5 plants that I think are really easy for beginners, and just easy house plants in general. If you don't have, you know, the amount of time that it would take to take care of these rarer, more high care plants, these are things that'll be really great to your collection. And even if you just get one of each and put it in your space, it immediately brings life to it. So yeah, again, if you want any more specific videos, I can do that. I think at some point I might do like a houseplant tour, but I'm not sure, because I feel like that would probably be really involved, and I don't know if I have the time right now to do that, but I think at some point I will. Maybe in spring, as we get even more growth going on, I'll do that. But yeah, those are the top 5 plants that I would recommend. I'm really interested in when this leaf, so this leaf actually got stuck. The leaf that I was talking about in this bird of paradise, it was stuck, and I kind of had to help it out. And sometimes you have to do that. It was stuck for like a month. And so I am just anxiously waiting for it to open so I can see this new leaf. But yeah, those are the top 5 plants that I would recommend for you guys. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.